Hey folks, it's Fernando doing another video for the More Survivalists. In this case, back in the kitchen doing some home cooking. And I'm going to be using this flour that I found. It's expired in December 2013, so it's well over a year that it has expired. And sometimes people think that as immediately after something expires it's no longer good. It's not always the case. It's always better to be careful and, you know, stay on the safe side, but there's lots of food products that don't just fall apart as soon as they expire. Usually the smell or the taste will give you a good indication if it has gone bad or not. But in this case, it looks pretty good. I found it in the back of one of the shelves there in the kitchen, and it seems to be in good overall condition. There's no bugs. That would be one of the first signs of, well, even if it has bugs, many times there's nothing wrong with the food, just extra protein in the form of bugs. But even that, there's none of that. It's, you know, nice, good looking flour, even tastes normally. So let's try doing a couple little pita type breads. I don't know if that's pita or not, but let's give it a try, see how it goes. So this is self-raising flour, which makes it a little bit more simple. I'm gonna be preparing lunch with it. Maybe a couple, maybe a little bit more. I was thinking of doing like a couple pita breads cut in half in the oven with a little bit of tomato, maybe a little bit of cheese and some green vegetables on the side. So, you know, I'm no expert chef or anything like that. I just go along, invent as I go. But I do like adding a little bit of olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil. Is this expired as well? October, best before October 2014. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Not a lot, boy. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, we don't, I don't know, things kind of last a lot here. And salt, not too much salt, but is that okay? Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I don't want to overdo it with salt, but there it is. And of course, water. And I'll leave this open just in case I need a little bit more flour there. Start mixing it. Of course I cleaned this before starting, but I'm gonna be trying to do the minimum amount of mess. Again, guys, no expert chef or anything like that, but you know, part of being a person that has a well-rounded idea of how to do things on your own, you know, that's kind of the idea of being a survivalist, is being a jack of all trades kind of person. You're no expert at anything, but sort of figure out anything that you have to deal with. So yeah, I don't have like crazy cooking skills or anything, that's for sure, but I can just put something together with a little bit of imagination. And there's of course trial and error involved. But you should be able to do these simple things. You know, cooking is one of those things that any guy or any girl, of course, should know how to do. I was tempted to buy one of those bread making gadgets, but it seemed overly complicated for, you know, something that has been done for thousands of years, bread. Now all of a sudden we need machines to do it. I'm sure it tastes great. That's what lots of the reviews say, but again, anything that I can do simple and without much complication, I don't see the point of overcomplicating things when you don't have to do it. And again, this philosophy of keeping things as simple as possible. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit more of a dough. bit more water. Gonna be letting it sit for a while before actually cooking it, see if it raises some. I think it's the first time I'm cooking with expired flour. Smell, texture, everything else seems quite normal and such, so I'm not expecting any nasty surprises, but who knows. I was reading the other day about someone, an older lady, she was cooking, I think I overdid it with water there. Beginner's mistake as always. A bit more flour in there. Yeah, I definitely had too much water there. And she gave her grandkids expired chocolate syrup or an expired chocolate drink mix, and she actually poisoned them with it. They all ended up in the hospital. Fortunately, it wasn't more serious than that. Could have been much worse. But yeah, sometimes you have to be careful with things. You know, it's not always safe to use expired products. So I'm going to be careful with chocolate. Chocolate in general has, you know, one piece of advice, guys, is the more ingredients it has, the more it's likely to have something going wrong, especially when it's expired food. In this case, this woman was using some chocolate drink mix of some sort. In general, if you have pure chocolate and it's getting a little bit old, what happens is that it has a layer of the cocoa oils and fats raising to the surface, and it has that white layer on top, but it's usually not affecting taste too much. At least in generally it doesn't. So usually it's quite safe to even, you know, have a little bit of expired chocolate. Now, if you're talking about a chocolate drink mix that has several other ingredients, you're not, you know, it's harder to say which ones may become toxic or poisonous once some time has gone by. So usually the rule of thumb is to stick to simple products, you know, as few ingredients as possible. That's usually one of the best ways to go about it. Just trying to have a better dough here. So yeah, well, flour clearly is one of the things that will last quite a bit, and if there's something wrong, if it has, you know, something starts growing on it, you'll notice it pretty fast. Of course, salt, olive oil, it can become rancid after some time, but in that case, the smell will be your best indication, so as to, you know, not use it. In terms of rice, white rice stores, of course, better than brown rice. Brown rice has that exterior shell, you know, that exterior that has all the oils, and the oils and the fatty acids are the ones that become rancid after some time. So usually, well, not usually, it's safe to say that white rice will store better than brown one, but it has, of course, a little bit less nutritional value and less fibers and less of the good stuff that you're losing with that white polished rice. Canned goods in general, with canned food, you can go beyond the expiration date as long as the can is not bulged. You know, if it's, of course, leaking, bad sign, get rid of it. If it has bulged, as if something has fermented on the inside, that's usually another bad sign. One time I had this can, it was a glass jar of tomato sauce, and it hadn't even expired. It was well within the expiration date, but as soon as I opened it, the smell, you know, the rotten smell, it was overwhelming, and you realize that in spite of being within the expiration date, something had gone wrong in the canning product procedure, and it was a pretty good brand. You know, it wasn't some mystery can of tomato sauce, but as soon as I opened it, the smell, and I think I did a video about that, as soon as I opened it, it was clear that it had gone bad. So smell, taste, any visible signs on the outside will usually be good indications. I think I'm done here. I'm gonna be doing a couple of breads like that, and this is kind of the texture that you're going for. Starts feeling warm to touch, soft. It's not sticking in your hands anymore. That's good. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing, you know what, a couple more times. Sometimes it's good to, you know, rub it against the. And it's good workout for your hands and your forearms as well. There we go. That's that. Let's leave it sort of like a pita bread, maybe a little bit more rounded. Making it flat like that makes it easier for cooking, which is, you know, if you have less fuel, maybe something you want to keep in mind. You know, bread that it's thinner and not so big is easier and quicker to cook. Yeah, these two should be okay. I'm going to be leaving it here for a while, see if it raises some, and then cook it. Put it in the oven for maybe 15-20 minutes or so. Keep an eye on it. Cutting in half, and then put a little bit else and see how it goes. Okay, so we'll take it from there. Okay, so our little bread ended up working quite nicely. I thought it wouldn't raise that much, given that it's over a year expired. Has a little bit of olive oil yet there. That's nice. This one seems to be looking the best. I'm gonna be now cutting them in half, putting a little bit of tomatoes and olives in there, a little bit of cheese spread, and serving it on the side with some fresh greens. Let's see, maybe it's too hot for, no, it seems to be okay. So what I'm going to be doing is this. I'll cut it in half. Let me see if I have a good angle there in the camera. There we go. This is just out of the oven, so it's still pretty warm. Pretty hot, I should say. I think it did okay for, yeah, maybe could have used a little bit more. It's just gonna be like a cushion there. There you go. See if it's okay, the bread. Let's try it. No, it's acceptable enough. Actually, it's quite good. So now I have that. What I'm doing is spreading it out a little bit like that. So I have a little bit more of a surface there. Yeah, maybe I have too much tomatoes, doesn't matter. That's good. A bit more precision there by hand. All right. I clearly have a smaller and bigger bread there, but that's okay. No big deal. All right. And on top, we're gonna be putting a little bit of cheese there. Yeah, not a lot of cheese, just a little bit so that it has not a whole lot of it, just a tad of it. And there. Actually, I've talked about in previous videos how we pretty much stopped drinking any milk, and cheese we're regulating it quite a bit. Every once in a while we still have pizza and such, but always trying to stick with small amounts of cheese, not to overdo it. Okay, so this is pretty much done. I'm going to be putting it back in the oven. Let's actually do that. Careful not to burn ourselves doing this. I'd say it's already warm, so maybe what do you guys say? 10 minutes? 10 minutes should do nicely. So there we go. And let's see, it's already hot enough. 10 minutes. And that's that. That should be done. Okay, it actually took just about 5 minutes or so. It was already pretty warm. Drinking mate here as well. Mate, guys, great for when waiting around in the kitchen and such. And let's see how this is looking. I don't do this, of course, every day. Usually my typical meal would be the rice one, some simple rice and vegetable thing, you know, quick and easy with a rice cooker that I have over there. But when you want to do a little bit something more inspired, so to speak, this is one of the ways to go about it. Okay, here it is. We put a little bit of greens on the side like so, and with a closer look, this is actually looking quite good. Let me see, just a tad of olive oil there. Okay, that's one already done. And for the other one, same thing here. Oops. I was thinking of putting maybe a little bit of tomato sauce underneath in the bread if it was necessary, but you know, keeping it a little bit more simple, maybe that would be, you know, to be honest, I think I forgot about it, but you know, still should have enough taste as it is. So a little bit of oil there as well, and that's that. Olive oil is actually pretty healthy for you. So that's it, guys. A simple way of putting together something a little bit different, and of course pretty healthy, all things considered. And that's it, folks. As always, subscribe, share the video if you did like it with my little recipe that I just made up here. And that's it. Take care. See you in our next video. Have a great day.